Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be getting to know your sewing machine. So we will go over different items on the sewing machine, your turn knobs, your dials, and everything like that. So let's go to it. Okay everyone, here we have our sewing machine set up. This is a Singer Tradition, which is one of the simpler sewing machines that Singer makes. So we will get into the different parts of the sewing machine. First off, you have your foot pedal. This is a standard foot pedal with a 3-prong cord on one side and the cord that plugs into the wall so you can turn it on. So this goes on the floor underneath your table or desk or whatever your sewing surface is. Whoops. Here, then we have this plug here. Goes in here. And this part goes into the wall. So let's just pretend we plug that into the wall. Next, then you turn the switch and your light will come on. Right now it's not because it's not plugged in. So like I said, your foot pedal goes on the floor underneath your desk or table, and you use your foot pedal to stitch. You make your stitches that way. So now then we have our stitching wheel right here. The 3 main stitches that we use when we sew is your zipper foot, which you can make a zipper hole and you can cut it, and that is your, oh no, I'm sorry, this is a buttonhole foot. And you make a buttonhole with it. So you can cut it and you put a loop of button through it. This one here is your straight stitch. This is your most basic and most common stitch that you will use. Then this one here is our zigzag stitch. It just gives it a little more decoration to it, and then all the rest of these other stitches on here are more decorative stitches, really is what they are. Okay, now we have our length adjuster, which your length adjuster tells you how far in between each stitch it will be. And so if you wanted it spaced out more, you would probably go with a bigger stitch length. If you wanted it spaced out less, you would go a smaller stitch length. So normally we set it at 3 for our stitch length. Now then, while we're on the front part of this, you have your reverse lever. Some have a button that you can just push and hold and it'll back up. So this is used for your back stitching. So when you're stitching, your fabric goes backwards. Excuse me. When you hold this lever, it makes your fabric pull forward, which gives you a back stitch. So now we will go up to our tension and width adjusters, which are on the top. Try and get this situated. Okay, you have your tension adjuster here, which is the tightness of your thread on the top. So you don't want it to be too tight, say maybe 6, because then it's going to make your sewing machine not work, and you don't want that. So And if you have too loose of a tension, say either 1 or 0, it will make it too loose and your stitching will not stay in your fabric. So usually we keep this one around 3 or 4 is a typical number. Now onto our width adjuster. This one will be if you are using anything other than a straight stitch. How wide do you want? So it gives you an example here on your zigzag stitching. So let's say a 1 or a 0, that would be a straight stitch. That's usually what you put a straight stitch on. So now let's say a 2, it may be one of these two wider ones, one of these two smaller ones here. Now if you go the widest, it would probably be this one right here. So like I said, if you keep it on 0, that is your straight stitch. But if you put it anything other than a 0, that would be indicating that you are doing a different stitch, and you should probably change your stitch to doing one of those other numbers. Alrighty? So now we will go back down to the front of our machine right here. Not sure if anyone can see that. We'll zoom it in here. Okay. Now, then this is the fun part. Zoom it in a little bit here. Okay. So, there is a lot going on right here in this little area. I get that. It will be very overwhelming. But you have this video to help you. So, first off, we see right here is our sewing needle. See if I can put my fingers behind it. Right here is our sewing needle. There's a hole in the bottom that you loop your thread in, and that's what goes down in the fabric. So let me see. Let me put this thread up in here. Let's just put it in, loop it in. Okay. Let's see. So we have our thread right here. Right? Okay. It may not go in because it's frayed. Okay, it's not going in, but you get the point. So that thread goes in. There's a little hole down here that it goes inside. Now, this here is called your presser foot. This is your main regular presser foot. This is where, so the needle goes down into this little slot right here. Maybe a little hard to see, I'm not sure. Goes through this little slot right here. Oops. And that is your presser foot. So it goes on just like this, and I'll see if it'll work. See if my phone will adjust. Okay. And you just put the lever down and it sticks back on there. Okay? So this here is an automatic needle threader, which I don't really use, partially because I'm not sure how to use it. So that's just easier if you can't see the hole in the needle. You can just loop your thread in there and it automatically threads it. So this down here, this is the only machine that I have used that has this little lever. This is for when you're doing buttonholes. It says push, so you pull it down, push it back, and then you can do your buttonhole. Use your buttonhole foot and do it. So you push it back up when you're finished. Now right here we have, this is called your needle plate. So these lines are indicating the inch from the edge of the foot. So here, so usually the edge of the foot is your 1/4 inch. So then this line here would probably be your 1/2 inch. So yeah, that is your needle plate. And these little teeth things under here are called your feed dogs. Not feet dogs, feed dogs. And that keeps your fabric moving in the sewing machine so you don't have to push it through the sewing machine. Does that make any sense? Hope so. Okay. So now we're going to zoom back out and put the sewing machine back. So in here, this usually bobbins will be up here in your, sometimes bobbins will be up here in your needle plate. They will not have this metal cover on it. There'll be a plastic cover that you can take your needle and your bobbin. You put your bobbin in and load it and everything. But this one is actually in here. That's what this little door is for. So this actually should have a bobbin cover, but I'm not sure where it's at. I've not used this machine in a while. So here you would put your bobbin in it and push it in when you are loading your bobbin, which will be in the next video. That is how your bobbin thread gets up here into your top thread. So you have your top thread coming down from the top, your bobbin thread coming up here, so you have 2 threads up here. So, but we'll go over that in our next video. So this here actually has a case. It has all the accessories in it and everything. So we will go over that in just a second. So I'm not going to put that back on. Okay, so now let's get over here into the thread. This here is where your thread goes. And you'll learn more about how to wind the thread to get to the bobbin and everything, which most sewing machines should tell you. So like over here there's a little diagram that tells you how to load the bobbin thread. And then this here, this is your bobbin. This is what your bobbin should look like. This here is where you put it. So this one here, you actually loop it through and come over here. To actually thread it, you have to move it to the side in order to have it threading. Alrighty. So, and now while we're on this side, we have our little hand wheel. This is good for using to get your needle to go up and down and to thread your machine. This is how you get the bobbin thread into the top where you can start sewing. So I will show you what happens to the needle when I move this dial. So let's come back over here, zoom it back in. Okay, so here actually on this machine, if you watch very closely here, this is blue and red here. So I'm fixing to turn it. See, it goes down and comes back up. That is how the knob and the hand wheel is used. Alrighty, I think we covered everything on the sewing machine. So now we will go to the accessories that can be used and probably will be used when you get to using your sewing machine. So we'll do that in the next part. Okay, so now we have some of the feet and tools that will come with your sewing machine or in a kit that you can buy. So let's start off with this one here. This one I showed you is our regular sewing foot. This one here is a zipper foot, and we will learn how to use that when we get to a zipper project, a project that needs a zipper. This one here is a buttonhole foot. Same as the zipper foot, we will learn how to use that when we get to a project that needs a button. So we'll move these out of the way. These two tools can come in your sewing machine kit, or you can purchase them for extra. This here is a little flathead screwdriver used for a couple different things in your sewing machine, and this is the same here. This one has a flathead and looks like some sort of a Phillips screwdriver. Essentially a screwdriver on it. So we will see how to use these. Okay, let's set this back up and we will see how to use these. Okay, let's adjust it here. So we're going to pull the machine back up here. Now then, I'm going to zoom in on it here. Can't get it situated there. Okay, so this here, this little knob is to get your needle out so you can change it. So let's pull it, and the needle comes right out. So if that is on there too tight, this side here can go in here. Oh, wrong way. Oh no, wrong way. And we can twist it. Or you can use this other side and do the same and just twist it. So now this side or this one can be used to undo your needle plate. If you ever get anything jammed up in your feed dogs, that is how you can unjam it or clean it. That is also another good way to use these little tools here. So I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to just put it back on. Okay. So that is your whole sewing machine plus your sewing foot pedal. So the next video will be learning how to thread your bobbin and get your sewing machine ready to start sewing. So hit that like button and subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get reminded every time we post a video. And I will link my small business in the description or right here, so you can go check it out. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching this video and bearing with me as this is my second video. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned for next week's video next Friday. Bye!